Trump's house, and we've got President Trump is getting ready to come on the television. He is live in Arizona, and they're just waiting for him to come on right now. So RFK Jr. was just talking to everybody about making America healthy again. And it's very fascinating to me that he should be talking about this because I moved to Switzerland in the early 90s, actually, well, I was married in 1992. I went there for the first time in 1990 when I realized that Americans were being poisoned by our food. And now all of a sudden they're talking about it like all the time. Sorry, I've got makeup all over my face. I've got I was a kitty cat for Halloween tonight. Anyway. Yes, Marita, hi, I'm live. I'm live. We were waiting for President Trump to come out and Tucker Carlson too. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to do my show tonight with Tucker Carlson and Trump. It's on a big television, so I don't know. YouTube has been kind of wonky about me recording shows off of my computer, so I know, right, Marita? I'm glad you're here. Anyway, make America healthy again, because we really truly have been poisoned by the food. I noticed it when I was a high school student and early college that people were actually, it was like the end of high school. Yeah, well, no, more like early in college when 1985, 86. Is that Tucker? All right. Anyway, when I noticed that people were getting fat and that the food was changing. All right, so Tucker's on now. Let's go see what's going on. We'll listen. I don't know if I'll turn the camera around quick so you can see. But we might have to maybe keep the camera on me. Yeah, Marita, there's a reason for that.
She goes, and she's a very sweet person, former religion teacher, and she goes, I want to introduce you. And she has that kind of crazed look in her eye, and I said, I don't know if that's a good idea. Why do you want to introduce me? And she said, because I want to lead the crowd in a chant, we are not garbage.
We are not garbage. How true. Yeah, actually, it's funny. My friend Michelle was a bag of garbage for Halloween. So funny.
Too much. You're garbage? Really? Listen to who's saying that.
Yeah. Consider the source, we say in journalism.
Speaking at a rally for Donald Trump. This is the fourth time I've done it.
Woohoo!
It has felt not only like an honor and a privilege every time, but it has felt really natural. I'm sort of surprised. I was in journalism for 33 years. Hanging around, I know, someone just said, woo! It's nothing to brag about, trust me. And I honestly feel like saying I was young and I needed the money. You know, it's almost like when the naughty pictures of you emerged, you're like, that was the old me. But I spent my whole life standing at the back, watching, and I always thought, politicians, they're disgusting. By the way, I still think that. I would never get on stage and endorse.
It's true.
You have to be totally bereft of a soul to do something like that. And here I am.
Yes, here we are.
Utterly sincere,
loving this. Look at you. Hey, Arnie. This is amazing.
I do my best thinking. I like thinking in the shower because there's no lying to yourself in the shower. Because when you walk out of the shower and you see this kind of furry, lumpy primate in the mirror, there's no imagining your God. No, it's very grounding to see yourself naked at least once a day. I always think, I got to hang a black sheet over that mirror, but I keep it, just to keep me on the ground and with perspective. Anyway, I was thinking about this morning and I was thinking, I've known Donald Trump, gosh, a long time just from working in television. And what people forget about Donald Trump, who is often described as a real estate developer or a casino owner, both of which are true, but that for a huge chunk of his life, 10 years anyway, he had the #1 show on television. He had mastered the business that I was in. And on the one hand, television is kind of a repulsive business. It's like a P. Diddy party every night.
Ew.
Ew, yeah. Tell me about it. I spent 30 years doing it. But on the other
Ew.
hand, people who
What?
are really successful, and Trump was #1 in television, all have one thing in common, which is they understand people. And the good ones like people. And they're liked back. And by the way, you probably know this, but in the TV business, which I spent the last 8 years telling you Trump is a terrifying dictator, he was loved. I mean, everyone loved him. And I liked him. I mean, I liked him from the first time I talked to him 20 years ago. He was hilarious. And interesting and smart.
His show would often
incredibly
crack
funny.
50 million.
And it was almost 10 years ago.
Marita just said that she found out that Tucker was attacked by a demon while he was in bed 2 years ago.
And Trump was the guest.
That's why
And
he
was, of course, this
became
famous
more
star on another
religious.
network, NBC.
Huh.
And he did great, like he always did. We had a great time.
Wow.
And it changed his life. We gotta look that up, Marita. Thank you.
He said,
I did not know that.
That I'm thinking of running for president. And I just did not take it seriously at all. And I said, oh yeah, I'm running for president, okay. Because everyone in TV thinks I should be president. Joe Scarborough wakes up every morning, I should be president. But he's not really going to run because you want to give up the salary, and it's hard to run for president. It's just a way to sell a book or whatever. So I kind of laughed. And he said, no, I'm going to surprise you. And it was such a weird conversation that I actually wrote it down in my calendar. I looked it up today.
Wow.
I wrote it down. Donald Trump calls, says he's going to run for president because there was something in his voice that didn't sound like the Trump I thought I knew. There was a resolve there that I thought was amazing. And of course, the rest is history. Almost 10 years later, he has completely...
Please do, Marita, please.
...and the world and the political party.
I have Messenger, yes.
And for me, it was this incredible...
Look at that crowd. Wow.
Covering him.
Holy guacamole.
To where I am now, which is speaking on a stage without any shame at all, not getting paid for it, doing it because I really, really mean it, and endorsing him for president. And so I just want to explain how I got here, because I think it says a lot about who Trump is.
Are you afraid
So
to
the
get
first thing I noticed about Trump was that
I hope
everybody
not.
in the Republican Party I had suspicions about hated him immediately.
Tell him how to
There
find
was
it.
something about Donald Trump that whenever he
So,
that the people
okay.
I always thought were kind of false.
So Michelle's really worried that
The Mitch McConnells of the world.
I shouldn't post the Trump rallies and stuff.
My neighbors in Washington, D.C.
But we like to watch them together.
Trump comes out of nowhere. He seems to be gaining traction.
If
People
it's the
never
last
voted
time,
for him at
guys.
all.
I mean, it's the last week of this, you know?
Yeah, it's the end.
It feels so important.
We're so offended by Trump that they
I'm this close, like this close to being monetized on YouTube. Michelle's like, don't rock the boat, don't rock the boat. I know, right, Squatch? 4 more days. Oh, Muffin. Muffin! I gotta go get my dog. Anyway, I'm thinking I can't constantly have the camera on Tucker or Trump. Wait, okay, come here, baby. We'll have the camera on Muffin. Muffin had such a good time trick-or-treating tonight. Oh my gosh. Right? It was great. So, yeah, Arnie, I haven't been live like myself at the rallies, but it's just so much fun to watch the rallies with you guys, right? I don't know. I don't like to do it alone. It's better than being there. I know. Look how cute. You need to go out. We could just look at Muffin. Can you hear okay?
Why are they so mad about a guy who says stuff like we should have a border?
Yeah, we should have a
And then I
border.
realized
Is that
they
crazy?
hated Trump because Trump asked questions they couldn't answer. Like, why are we doing it this way?
See, that's the other thing on these shows is that
Well, I don't know, why
we
do
can
you say
talk
first
about it. Some
question?
people don't like it when I
If not
talk,
having a border
but
is such a good idea if it's so important to have a tight labor market, or if you think tariffs are so terrible, why don't you
really?
just explain why?
Aw.
Why are you yelling at the guy? No matter what he said, he would get up and say, I think we should have tariffs. And they would say, racist!
Yeah, all the racists.
And I would think to myself, what do tariffs have to do with race? I was
They have nothing to do with
completely
race.
confused. And then over time, within about a year, I realized people hated Trump because they were guilty of crimes.
Exactly.
And those people
Bingo. People hated Trump
workers.
because they were
Look,
guilty
I
of
was glad to leave
crimes.
the city where I spent my entire life.
That's why they're so worried about
Because
Trump
thanks to
getting
Donald
into
Trump,
office
I saw what it
and
really
him
was.
wanting
Which was a
retribution, if you
scam.
will. I
It
mean,
was the richest city in the United
don't do the
States.
crime
In
if you can't do the
Said
time.
over and over he's not going to because it would be bad for the country.
Yeah, but you know what? They would never give him the same amount of grace, ever.
Production of anything. By the way, there was also no
I know,
creativity
right,
or
Arnie? I
ideas.
think
How
that
did these
President
people get
Trump
so
wants me to
passionate?
do things like
Well,
this,
let's see.
right?
That's how.
It's more fun to watch these rallies with you guys.
I think maybe if we
And
do
yet
give him all
everybody
three,
involved in the grift
you know, the
instantly the
House
jig was
and the
up.
Senate,
If
the
this guy
Senate and
keeps
the
talking, we're in
presidency,
deep trouble.
that
Yeah.
this
And I'm
time
not even
don't
sure
support
he's
him
coming on
enough that
stage
he
in a
will
minute,
be able
and maybe we
to
can ask him.
get things done.
I'm not even sure
Exactly, exactly. President Trump needs full support.
Get the
I'm not
wall
sure even
done,
knew.
get the
Yes,
border patrol set
she's
up.
right about that.
Neither he nor me nor any normal person had any idea that even
Yeah,
when
oh,
we
Squatch. Yeah,
got
Squatch is like
the
someone is
CIA
calling
FBI
Trump
working
anti
this work,
Semitic.
that's the threat
His
that he poses.
grandchildren are Jewish.
And what
Come
was that
on,
threat?
that's just,
Just
that's
being honest.
crazy
So
quick.
Mar-a-Lago was the first
Telling the
club to
truth.
let in blacks and
They
Jews.
saw
Blacks
the
and
truth
Jews,
unfolding,
yeah.
and they see
He's
things
not
as a war threat
racist.
now.
He's
I
not
really think, let's
anti-Semitic.
be completely
He's
honest.
not
The
anti-American.
Choice
The
of American
only
voters
reason
for
Epstein was
president.
there was because he's right down the street
Yeah,
from
well,
Mar-a-Lago. So
good
he's like,
point.
hey, a club that let in Jews. Here I
Yeah,
go.
a club that lets in Jews, indeed.
I'm
Um,
saying that because it's completely obvious.
I don't know.
There's no Democrat running for anything who could fill a hall like this. Who could do it?
So Tucker brings up another good point. When did we ever have a president who was so beloved like Trump is? Never.
Every
Never.
boo is deserved if you only knew how deserved those boos were. One of the things that we learned from Donald Trump, one of the many, many things, completely changed my life watching it. One of the many things we learned is that the Republican Party, the leaders of the Republican Party, really despise their own voters. They had zero interest in improving their lives. And we know this because
I think all of the politicians despise their constituents. It seems like they don't like us at all, especially when we make our voices heard.
They did nothing. Their attention was focused abroad to the Middle East and Eastern Europe. That's where all the money went. That's where all the prayers went. That's where all the attention went, because that's all they cared about. They didn't care at all about their own voters. And by the way, I didn't really know that. I think most people in this room sense that. You know when someone doesn't care about you, you can feel it. You can feel the contempt coming off them in oily waves. That's exactly what it is. It's contempt. Joe Biden's not the only one who thinks you're garbage, actually. Mitch McConnell agrees with that. That's a fact. And that's one of the reasons that they don't want Donald Trump back in Washington. But the main reason they don't want Donald Trump back in Washington is something called disclosure. Do you know what disclosure is?
Bingo!
Disclosure means sunlight. Disclosure is the principle that you,
Where the truth comes out. And we nail them. Marita is right. And we need justice.
Citizen, an owner of this country, a person on whose behalf
Yeah, it is, Arnie.
exists. There's no other reason to have the government know what that government is doing with your money in your name. It's not a privilege that you were granted. If they're in a good mood one day, you can know a little bit more about how John F. Kennedy was murdered
How
in
many of these
1963.
guys support
You have
right
an
side
absolute moral
broadcast?
right to know because you own it.
What do you mean?
Well, they show the audience. They show the excitement. They do show it all.
Yeah, right side is good.
It really is.
That
It
if Donald
truly
Trump
is
comes
the
back
best
to Washington, we're
place
going to find out what's happened to the
to watch
$100
these
billion that we
rallies.
sent Ukraine
And
over the past 2.5. What happened to that money?
I believe that Silk
Where
is
do you
still
think it went? Have you
getting.
been to McLean recently?
Diamond and Silk
Yeah.
started this.
It's not just Hunter Biden, by the
Oh, I
way.
didn't know that.
Hunter Biden, I mean, to his great credit, was so high on crack he couldn't steal half as much as, you know, your average contractor in Washington and his friends. So the truth is, actual crimes have taken place. Crimes that made people rich, crimes that hurt American citizens, and you're not allowed to know their scale or the details about any of them because it's classified. And they're terrified if Donald Trump gets back, accompanied by a full cast of reformers, not alone this time. Not a single man riding into Washington, man against the machine. It's hard to do that. He did it. He fought off 2 impeachment attempts for daring to do it. But if he comes back with, I don't know, Bobby Kennedy and Elon Musk, when he comes back with an army of people who know exactly what's up, they know what's going on, they know where the bodies are likely to be buried, and they're coming with shovels to dig them up. What you're seeing now is actual panic and desperation. And I guess I've kind of backhandedly defended Hunter Biden on the grounds that he was so out of it he had no idea what was actually going on. I'll extend the same courtesy to Kamala Harris. And that creepy guy who's following around in the campaign trail. By the way, AOC just said the other day, speaking of which, AOC, that would be Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I love that. She's this revolutionary who's named after a conquistador and doesn't even know it. Your last name is Cortez, honey. Sit this one out. Excuse me. And maybe like Larry Mussolini shows up and is like, no, I'm against fascism, really. All right.
Yeah, you might be right, Marita.
What a moron. But she was at a rally in Vegas yesterday and she goes, Doug Emhoff is the model of masculinity.
He's the model of masculinity.
Oh, man. Yeah. Memo to any unmarried women here, do not date a feminist man. They'll smack you around, trust me.
So, for those of you, if you didn't know about Doug Emhoff, ooh, his history is rather sketchy. I mean, first of all, he was married to this woman, and they had 2 children. You know, Ella, the model for Vogue, and I forget the boy's name. Anyway, Ella had a nanny, and Doug Emhoff decided to use the nanny for things that nannies should be used for, if you know what I mean. And the nanny got pregnant. And Doug Emhoff beat the pregnancy out of the nanny. I know, Muffin, it was terrible. I have to feed Muffin. Anyway, Doug Emhoff is a woman beater. And that's a fact. And sorry, Muffin gets angry when she doesn't get her food. How many times have you guys watched the Beach Report and Muffin got hungry in the middle of it? It's a big problem, isn't it? All right, you're gonna see Muffin. Muffin needs to have her chicken.
She says I have a problem.
Yeah, she is a
I
problem.
know there's a big chicken in
She
there.
knows all about the chicken that's in the refrigerator. And if I don't get it out immediately, there's gonna be a problemo.
With energy and cheerfulness.
Yeah. This is what it's like to have your life ruled by a little dog.
Since AOC raised the question of what a real
She's right next to me. She's going nuts. Yeah, girls gotta eat, right? This dog eats a lot. She's only 8 pounds. I know. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh. Yes, I have the chicken. I got the goods. She's gonna be super happy in a second. Here. Okay. All right, now, here. There we go. It's trick or treat time for Muffin. He was shot in the face, by the way. And he made a joke about it.
And I sometimes think I'm a pretty tough guy. I've been fired by all these cable networks. It's really hard to be fired by a cable network.
Yeah, this dog has a very good life.
It's absurd. All of us are the heroes of our own drama, of course, no matter what it is. You teach middle school social studies, I'm sure you come home and think, man, I fought a battle today. You run some stupid cable TV show and you're like, I'm tough as hell. Try getting shot in the face at a rally. And then pushing off.
I figure you guys can watch Muffin eat and listen to Tucker at the same time. Can you hear him all right?
That was the most revealing moment I have ever seen in the life, not just of any politician, but of any person I have known.
Oh no. Runner, that sounds like not good. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that happened to you. I mean, my dog is my ruler, my queen, my princess. She's everything. Do I sound crazy? I might be a little bit crazy. I love this dog so much, you have no idea. I mean, look at her, she's precious. So we score the Caesar's food. She likes the loaf.
It was so unbelievable that Democrats on
I'll give her some of that too.
accused him of faking it
Here.
on the grounds that nobody could be that brave.
Well, I'll wait till she finishes eating the chicken that's in there.
It's hard to imagine the second gentleman standing up and being like, fight.
Fight.
You know, or Tim Walz. But the truth is, masculinity is still I'm sorry.
Tucker's funny. I like his giggle.
Because it's a rough world and unexpected things happen. And as my friend Mike Tyson said, famously, everybody got a plan until he gets hit in the face. So what's your plan when you get shot in the face? You don't have a plan. You act purely on instincts, and that's when we find out if you're a leader or not. And that's what we learned. And
That's
we're
right.
learning it still. We're learning it still because even if you or me have been able to pull that off, you think that's the end? You think that's the last time they're going to try to do that to you? You joking? No, probably not. You think even if you manage to get the most votes, you can get elected. If you get elected, what's going to let you govern? It is an unending struggle every single day to represent the people you've promised to represent. The people who otherwise have no representation. None. Because trust me, outside of Donald Trump, very few people in Washington care about you. And I mean that. Because you're not Ukrainian.
Because you're not Ukrainian. Oh my gosh.
And because he cares, because at this point, I don't care if you're a New York Times correspondent, and if there aren't any in this room, let me
Oh, wow. Wow, did you hear that? He just said F you to the New York Times. No, Tucker, you're my hero.
I know them, they're worse than you think. But that's not just a talking point. That is real. Someone who is willing to do that on your
Thank you, Kenneth.
is not only the man you need, he's the only man
Love you, Runner.
who can represent you. Because that's what it's going to take.
Sorry, I know. It's been hard, this election. It's been very, very hard and cruel to Americans.
But from the most powerful people on the planet, and you're going to have to stand up straight and say, onward, with a smile on your face every day. And he's the only person I have ever met in my entire 55 years on this planet who can do that. So with that, let me get my handheld mic to introduce the former and next president.
Oh, I get so emotional every time I see him. I cry. I'm so glad he's all right. That right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Where is he? Where is he? From the lakes of Minnesota, hills of Tennessee.
Now I am more honored than I've been in a long time in memory.
To Houston and New York to LA. Well, there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say.
That deep giggle is when Tucker's really.
Or at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. There he is! Woo! Up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause I ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. I love this song. Be an American where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Trump, 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 Trump.
Fight, 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 fight.
Oh, this is just wonderful. And the crowd goes wild.
USA.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So,
Is this his third thing today?
Yeah, this is like his third event today.
past 8 years, and I think I've thought it more frequently.
I saw that, Marita. Did you hear on like ABC News they said that Kamala Harris won the election?
I
Yeah.
just want to be with people like
Yeah,
this. It's so much
little
love.
projection there, huh?
So much love. It's pretty easy. I could have a lot of different, I have a lot of alternatives. I could be at a beautiful beach with the waves hitting me in the face and all that boring stuff. And I've been there, and you get very bored pretty easily. I have one thing in mind. It's called Make America Great Again. That's all I think about.
Amen. But was there ever a moment?
So we're watching President Trump and Tucker Carlson right now.
Person in this room has followed this this so carefully, but if you make a list of all the attacks, some of which are just mind-boggling in their viciousness and unfairness, culminating with being shot, was there ever a moment where you just thought, come on,
Oops, sorry,
this is too
guys.
much?
You like not to think about that, honestly, and there are moments when you don't feel so good about things, but you try not to do that. You try not to, I always like to look forward. I don't like to look so much in the present. I don't like to look in the past so much, other than you have to learn from the past. It's history, you have to learn, otherwise you're a very foolish person. But I like to look forward. I like to think of the positive. I think you have to have a sort of the positive, the power of positive thinking in a way. And I don't know. It's just a mission that I'm on. I felt we did great in the first election, 2016. We did much better in the second election. Bad things happened. Bad things happened. And had I not done well in the second, I would have said, all right, that's it, because you wouldn't have done well. But I knew how well we did. And now. She said, you're right about that. But if I didn't do, we got millions and millions more votes in the second election, which rarely happens to a president. Usually they get less. Almost all the time they get less. Obama got less. Barack Hussein Obama, he got a lot less. And had we not done well, but I knew how well we did, and I said, well, let's see how they do. And I waited around for a year, and I looked at these people, and Biden was grossly incompetent. I saw that. His vice president wasn't even a discussion. She came in last. She was the first one to get out of the
Muffin just ate a
Democrat
full
primary.
meal.
She was, I guess number 22.
The full,
I think
all
there
of
were
it.
22 people, and she was the
All
last.
of it.
She was the last
With
first
chicken.
out, if you want to look at it that way. She never got to Iowa. But I was watching, and if they could do well, I would be very happy. Actually, I would have been very satisfied. But they were grossly incompetent.
She has a
When I watched
wellness
what they
visit
were
next
doing and
week.
how
We'll
they were
see.
destroying this country at the border.
She's a good
I mean,
appetite.
millions and millions of people. I'm sure we have some in here tonight with us, murderers and drug dealers, prisoners. They have prisons from all over the world are being emptied out into our country, all over the world, the Congo and Africa, not just South America, you know this. They're opening up their prisons and they're bringing them into our country. Anyway, so I watched other things too. Afghanistan, you take a look at Afghanistan, what happened with Afghanistan, how bad that was. I wanted to get out, we were getting out, we were going to keep Bagram, but we were getting out with dignity and strength. We were strong. And the way they got out, they took the soldiers out first. No, you take the soldiers out last. Anybody would know that. And you watched all of the things that happened. And I said, we're going to do this thing. We're going to do it again. And we're doing well. Now we're going to know in 4 days. But we're doing very well. I think we're leading by a lot. And if we can keep that cheating down, because they're a bunch of cheats, if we can keep that cheating down, we're going to have a tremendous victory. I think it'll go down as one of the greatest victories of all time. So we're going to have an exciting time. We're going to have an exciting time.
And Biden and her were both
So you were in
told
New
that.
Mexico the other day. New Mexico's considered a pretty blue state. What were you doing there?
Well, they're also a border state. They have people pouring in by the tens of thousands, and they're being decimated. They're being hurt very badly. They also have a pretty rotten economy for a lot of reasons, but what they really have is tremendous inflation. But beyond that, because I happen to think that the border is the single biggest issue. I think the border is a bigger issue than inflation. Inflation is destroying, and it's a country buster. Inflation, it's broken up many countries, including Germany from many years ago. You look at where
I think
there
he's
was
right about
this
the
is
border
biggest
being more
inflation
important, though.
and the worst inflation we've ever had. They say in 48 years. They don't include a lot of things. It was the worst inflation we've ever had. Inflation is a country buster. So I'm not trying to minimize that, but I think the biggest problem and the worst thing that's happened to this country is allowing millions of people in here that are criminal people. Look, when you empty out your prisons and you put them into the United States, a lot of bad things happen. And they're coming in totally unvetted, totally unchecked. They're pouring in. Venezuela
Exactly.
has allowed
That's why you vet people. You don't want the criminals, you want good people.
Try to have a
Do you know
legal immigration
the crime
system.
rate is way down. I think like 70%, 72%. They've taken from Caracas
All
and the
of
cities
this,
in
they're talking
Venezuela
about
where they have
the
the problem.
illegal part.
They've taken the street
We
gangs
still have a
and they've
legal
delivered them
immigration
into the United
system.
States. Thank you very much.
Continues
They've
to
taken their
function.
criminals. They've taken their drug dealers and drug lords. They've taken them out of Caracas.
We absolutely
and they
do.
brought them
And
into the United
just
States.
to show you
And
guys,
it is a disgrace
so
that we are gonna have to do a
the
very
Beach
large
Report knows a lot
deportation
about
because
immigration.
you can't live like that.
I actually immigrated to Switzerland. And when I moved back to America from Switzerland with my Swiss husband and 2 Swiss children, I was told that I had to be sponsored by my grandparents. They wouldn't just let me come home. No, they made me prove that I could afford to live here. Isn't that a kick in the pants?
I mean, you've heard a Democratic
When
senator
President
should
Trump
visit
talks
the United
about
States
illegal
military, should
immigration,
these people, we should give them
every
guns,
country,
yes, give
all
them
over the
guns in the police
world,
department.
before they let anybody immigrate into their country, they make sure that they don't have a criminal record. They make sure that they're good people. When I immigrated to Switzerland, they made me do an interview with them. And I had to prove that I could speak their language. I had to prove that I was part of their community. For real. It's a real requirement to live in another country. It's not easy.
Where the other side's coming from. And I'll say, why do they want to have men, and they're so emphatic about it, men playing in women's sports? You see what's happening in volleyball.
Yeah, why
what's
do they
happening
want
in
to do
swimming,
that so
what's happening
badly?
in weightlifting. How about weightlifting,
How
where
does that make
records have
sense
stood
to
for
anybody?
18 years, are being broken like by hundreds.
That's why
of
women's
pounds.
and
The
men's
whole
sports
thing
are
is crazy.
separate because
Then
we
you say,
acknowledge that men
why
and
do they
women
wanna
have separate abilities.
Transition, I call them transition operations by the thousands. If you just say, well, I'm thinking about it, they throw you into an operating table, and you say, why do they want to have that? Who wants that? Who wants to have open borders? Which are, they're all the same thing. They don't make any sense.
And the
We're the
proof
party
is
of
that
common
men
sense,
that
right?
are
Because I
like
think we're really the party of common
as
sense.
of running
And they're only
500 in their
there can only be
field,
a couple of
then
reasons.
all of a sudden
Number
step
one,
up and take
they're
the
stupid.
championship.
Well, they're not stupid.
Exactly.
because
It seems to me that the letting men perform, or I guess go into contests that are supposed to be for women, these are men who were not able to beat other men. So they figure they can be women, and they can. That's the reason why men and women's sports are supposed to be segregated.
They're trying to sign people up that don't even know what country
Oh,
they're in.
everyone has funny stories about crossing the Canadian border, Squatch. I know, I sure do. I actually have nightmares about crossing the Canadian border from my experiences.
People come up and say, gee, it would be great if you could get the taxes.
Anyway, I am a little bit concerned about being, docked for copyright or whatever. So if you guys want to see this interview with Tucker and Trump, I know it's so much better when we watch these things together, but like I said, I'm like this close to being monetized, so I don't want to mess anything up. Anyway, this is on Right Side Broadcasting, and President Trump, he brings up the same issues all the time, but they're the same issues. They don't change. And President Trump doesn't change. He doesn't use different accents. He's always himself. Because, yes, he hasn't changed since the 1960s. So,
The thing that's changed is we can see it now.
yeah, exactly. So, people who are watching and you still don't understand the real reason why you should vote for President Trump, I'll tell you. There's really only one good reason, and that reason is that he is the president of peace. If you don't like war, then you should vote for Trump, because the other side are warmongers. And if you don't believe me, Read your history
But in a good
books.
way. He's a very good kid. And
4 years of
I
Trump,
read about
no new
like,
wars.
all of a sudden,
No old
he's
wars,
involved
no
with Russia,
wars.
Russia.
Anyway,
I said, but I know
that's what I
Sam is my
believe. I
boy.
believe
I
in
know
peace.
exactly. He
And
knows
President
less
Trump
about
is a
Russia
man of
than the
peace.
cameraman that's
And
sitting
he
right
believes
there
in
that's not
peace through
prepared.
strength.
Dan doesn't know
So
anything about
he
Russia.
can say anything he
One
wants.
day,
And you know, at his
2
rallies,
years
he
before
pretty
they
much does.
had a whole group
But
of
he
people
says a
meet
lot
with
of the
the
same
Russian
things all the
lawyer having
time.
to do
And
with
I've been covering these
Whiskey
rallies
Act or something,
like
having to do with
super hard for the past several weeks.
Crazy. But she was
And
now everybody in Congress knew this woman. But anyway,
I will look that up. Thank
they
you,
go after,
Marita.
now think of this. Russia was a
Wait,
major hoax.
Bishop
It's now been adjudged to be a
Marmari?
total major hoax.
I've not
We had
heard
the
anything
Mueller
about
Commission,
this.
we had everybody.
Although,
It's all
have you
over.
heard
It was a
about
hoax.
Vigano?
It was made up to justify
Is he an
why
Archbishop
Hillary Clinton lost the
Vigano?
election when she wasn't
Ooh,
supposed to lose. It was
I'm gonna
totally,
read you the
and it was
letter
made up
that
by
he
shit that
wrote
Hillary
about
and some
Kamala.
other just total
It's bad.
sleazeballs. And
He calls her
what
like a
happened was the fake
demon.
news media, which is
It's
bad,
really
you do know
bad.
that. They're always around
So,
something.
the last president. Well, there's been a lot of prophecy on the last president. If you know anything about Ingersoll Lockwood, there's that. I know, I think so too, Marita. Anyway, I love you guys, and I'm glad to spend this time with you. I'm so glad we had this time together. Ciao for now. We'll see you on the next Beach Report. Good night, Kenneth. Yeah, you guys are awesome. All right, happy Halloween.